So I guess I should start from the beginning. My name's Dave, and I've been married to Lisa for about 8 years now. We've got a foster kid, Emma, who came into our lives 2 years ago. Initially, everything seemed fine. Lisa was the perfect wife, or so I thought. She was sharp, confident, had that bitchy attitude that some people mistake for strength. But lately, things started to feel off. Small signs at first, little lies about where she was going, strange calls that she'd quickly hide her phone from me. Nothing major, but enough to make me question whether she was hiding something. Emma's been a challenge, but we'd been working through it. I knew the system was kind of a mess, especially with the foster care stuff. I always trusted Lisa's judgment, but I started noticing these odd things during her home visits. She'd come home late, a little too secretive about her phone, and she'd be quick to brush off my questions. Her attitude got bitchier too. She snapped at me over nothing, sometimes called me an overbearing idiot if I dared to ask what she was doing. I brushed it off as stress, but deep down I sensed she was hiding something. Then about 2 weeks ago I overheard a phone conversation that didn't sit right. She was talking to someone, her tone was different. Not her usual aggressive, sarcastic self, but softer, almost flirtatious. I couldn't catch all of it, but I caught enough to make my stomach churn. I started paying more attention. I noticed her avoiding certain topics, deleting texts, and here, the kicker, she started taking those home visits to a new level. She'd leave earlier, come back late, and always had some excuse ready for why she was so exhausted or needed a bath as soon as she got home. One day, I finally decided to follow her during one of these visits. I didn't plan to do anything crazy, just wanted to see if she was sneaking off somewhere. I tagged along at a distance and parked outside the foster care office. What I saw made my blood run cold. She was with the court advocate assigned to Emma. Her name's Jessica, and they weren't just talking about Emma's case. They had their heads close, and I could see them exchanging hand gestures that looked too intimate for a professional setting. They were outside in broad daylight, laughing and even touching each other's arms a little too casually. I watched her kiss Jessica's cheek before she got into her car. I stayed hidden, stunned. This wasn't just an innocent office friendship. I could tell that much. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. Everything I'd trusted about her suddenly felt like a lie. I know people cheat, but I never thought my wife would do this to me, especially not with someone involved in our foster child's life, someone who was supposed to be helping us build a family, not tearing it apart behind my back. I couldn't process it at first. I just sat there in the car, trembling, trying to make sense of what I'd seen. The betrayal hit hard, and I knew I had to confront her soon. The question was, how do you even bring this up without losing your mind? That night I couldn't sleep. My mind kept circling around the images I saw, her laughing with Jessica outside the office, the way she touched her arm, the kiss. It was so blatant, yet she had the nerve to act like everything was normal. When she finally came home, I was sitting on the couch pretending to watch TV, but really I was just waiting for her to walk in so I could explode. She strutted in, looking annoyed almost instantly. "What do you want, Dave? Can't you see I'm tired?" Her voice was sharp, as if she was irritated I even dared to question her. I took a deep breath, trying to keep calm, and said, "We need to talk. Now." That immediately made her roll her eyes, but she sat down anyway, crossing her arms. I laid it out there, what I saw, how I followed her, the fact that she was with Jessica outside the office, laughing, touching. Her face immediately twisted into something ugly. She sneered and said, "God, you're crazy. You're imagining things. Jessica's just a friend. I don't know what you're talking about, but you're being paranoid." Her tone was dismissive, like I was wasting her time. But I wasn't buying it. I pressed her harder, asking how long it's been going on, what they do when she's with her, if they've been seeing each other outside of work. She scoffed. "You really think I'm cheating on you with some dumb advocate? That's ridiculous. Jessica, she's just helping with Emma's case. You're so insecure, Dave. Maybe if you weren't so clingy, I wouldn't have to sneak around." Her words hit like a slap. I could feel the anger bubbling up, but I also felt this crushing sadness. I mean, I wanted to believe she was lying, that she'd deny everything, but everything in me knew better. I pushed her again, demanding the truth, and she finally snapped. "You think I'm out here fucking around? I don't have time for your stupid accusations. You're so damn insecure, it's pathetic. Maybe I should just leave you since you're so damn useless at trusting me." She stormed off to the bedroom, slamming the door. I was left standing there, furious, hurt, and more confused than ever. That night I sat alone, replaying everything in my head. The girl I married, she's always been bitchy, yes, but I never thought she'd be capable of something like this. I felt like my whole world was crashing down. I didn't sleep again, just stared at the ceiling, trying to figure out what this meant for us. Was I overreacting, or had she really been cheating all along? I didn't have a clear answer yet, but I knew I had to get to the bottom of it. I needed to know if she was lying or if I was just imagining things. Either way, this was going to change everything. The next day, I couldn't focus on anything else. I kept replaying her words, the way she dismissed me, her accusations, her sneer. But I also remembered that kiss outside the office, how she touched Jessica's arm. I mean, I'm not stupid. I know how women can flirt, but this was different. It felt like she was hiding something big. And I was angry, so angry. Not just about the betrayal, but the way she lied so easily, the way she dismissed my concerns like they were nothing. I decided to do some digging. I needed hard proof. I started by going through her phone, trying to find anything that confirmed my suspicions. I found some messages, flirty texts, obvious innuendos, mostly after hours, late at night. Nothing explicit, but enough to make me feel sick. She'd said things like, "Can't wait to see you again," and "Tonight I'm all yours." The worst part, she tried to cover her tracks, deleting some messages. But I managed to recover most of them with a little effort. I felt like I was losing my mind. How could the woman I loved do this? How could she lie so convincingly? I wondered if she'd been cheating for weeks, maybe even months. And the thing that really cut deep, Emma, our foster daughter, was caught in the middle of this mess. Her life was tangled up in a system that was already complicated enough. I knew I had to confront her again, but this time I needed to come prepared. Late that evening, I sat her down. I laid all the evidence out on the table, screenshots of the texts, the times I followed her, the way she's been acting. Her face went pale. She tried that same dismissive attitude, but this time I saw through it. She rolled her eyes and snapped, "You're crazy. All these accusations, and for what? Because I talked to a friend outside of work. You're losing it, Dave." I looked straight at her and said, "Don't lie to me anymore. I saw you outside the office with Jessica. I followed you to her place last night. You're having an affair, Lisa, and I want the truth now. Are you sleeping with her?" Her eyes flashed. She crossed her arms tighter and hissed, "Oh, please, you're so paranoid. Jessica's just a friend, okay? You're overthinking everything. Maybe you're the one who's cheating. Maybe you're just too afraid to admit you're not enough for me anymore." That's when I saw her lie unravel. Her voice trembled just a little and her eyes darted away. I could tell she was panicking. I felt my stomach turn, a mix of rage and heartbreak. This wasn't just about her cheating. It was about the lies, the betrayal, the way she treated me like I was stupid for catching her. I knew then I had to make a decision. I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. My entire world was crumbling and I had no idea how to put it back together. All I wanted was the truth, but what I was getting was just more lies. The truth hit me like a freight train, but I already knew it deep down. She was lying, obvious about it now. I could see it in her eyes, the way her hands clenched when I pressed her further. I asked her again, voice steadier than I felt, "Are you sleeping with Jessica? Be honest with me right now." Her lips pressed into a thin line, and for a moment she looked angry, like I was the one invading her space, not the other way around. Then she scoffed, rolling her eyes, and gave me that familiar bitchy smirk. "You're really throwing a fit over some stupid office fling. Grow up, Dave. It's not like I'm cheating on you. She's just a friend. She's helping us with Emma. You're making a big deal out of nothing, as usual." I stared at her, trying to process her words, but I'd seen enough. The texts, the way she touched Jessica outside the office, the kiss she gave her goodbye, it all added up. She was lying, trying to hide it. I could see her trying to gaslight me, turn everything around. That's when I snapped. I told her I'd had enough, that I was done being played for a fool. Her reaction was classic. She got angry, started yelling that I was overreacting, that I was insecure and jealous. She said I didn't deserve her, that I was too weak to handle her success, her independence. She told me I was nothing but a boring, insecure loser who couldn't keep her satisfied. That cut deeper than anything she'd said before. Her words stung, but I knew I had to hold my ground. I wasn't going to be the fool anymore. I told her I'd been looking into everything, her messages, her whereabouts, everything. That I knew she'd been sneaking around with Jessica for a while. I told her I was done with her lying, done with her disrespect. I said I wanted an honest answer or I was leaving her. Her face twisted into that smug look she always wears when she thinks she's got the upper hand, but I saw fear behind it too. That night, she stormed out of the house, screaming at me that I was overreacting, that I was just jealous and insecure. But inside, I felt a strange sense of relief. It was like I'd finally uncovered the truth, even if it stung like hell. I couldn't believe how easily she lied, how she'd betrayed everything we built. I knew then I had to decide what to do next, whether to fight for us or cut my losses. All I could think about was how she'd gone from the woman I trusted to someone I didn't even recognize anymore. The days that followed were some of the hardest I've ever gone through. Every time I looked at her, I saw the lies, the betrayal. It was like a fog lingering in the house, heavy and suffocating. I was mostly silent, trying to process everything, trying to keep my cool while my mind raced with what ifs and what nexts. Part of me wanted to yell, to scream, to break something. Part of me just wanted to crawl into a hole and forget everything. But I knew I couldn't avoid this forever. One afternoon, she finally came home, looking more bitchy than usual, and told me she was done with the drama. She claimed I was crazy, jealous, insecure, that I'd ruined everything. She said she didn't love me anymore and that she was leaving. Said she'd found someone better, someone who appreciated her strength and independence. Honestly, I felt like I'd been punched again. Seeing her walk away like that, so cold and dismissive, it was like losing my wife all over again. Only this time, I knew she'd been lying too. My face for months, I didn't try to stop her. What was the point? She'd already made her choice. Instead, I just sat there, stunned, feeling a strange mixture of rage and sadness. I realized I'd been clinging to a fantasy, thinking she was the woman I married, the one I fought for. But she had been someone else entirely. Someone who cheated behind my back, lied through her teeth, and used me like a damn convenience. That night, I stayed up until dawn, thinking about everything. About how she lied to me, how she betrayed Emma's trust, how she played me for a fool. I started to see things more clearly. The whole relationship felt like a house of cards ready to fall. And now that it was crashing down, I knew I had to do something. I wasn't going to let her ruin my life without a fight. I decided I'd file for divorce, no matter how much it hurt. I had to reclaim what was left of my dignity. Looking back now, I realize how naive I'd been, how much I'd trusted her even when the signs were obvious. She was a bitchy woman, yes, but I thought she was loyal. Turns out she was just good at hiding her true self. The betrayal has left a scar, but it's also made me stronger. I've learned that sometimes the person you love the most can turn out to be the one who hurts you the deepest. And all you can do is pick yourself up, learn from it, and move on. In the weeks that followed, I went through every possible emotion: anger, sadness, betrayal, and finally, a kind of numb acceptance. I started the divorce process, not because I wanted to hurt her, but because staying in that toxic environment was doing more damage than good. I realized that trust, something I once thought was unbreakable, had been shattered completely. The woman I married, the woman I thought I knew, had been hiding a secret life behind my back, and I couldn't pretend otherwise anymore. The hardest part wasn't just the betrayal. It was the realization that I had built a life on lies. The years we shared, the hopes, the plans for Emma's future, all of it now felt distant, like a memory I was trying to hold onto but couldn't. I questioned myself a lot. Did I miss the signs? Was I blind? But in the end, I knew I had done everything I could, and sometimes the truth just isn't enough to keep a relationship afloat. I moved out of the house, took some time to get my head straight, and slowly started rebuilding my life. I learned to trust my instincts more and to listen to that little voice inside telling me when something's off. I also learned that not everyone is who they seem. Some people wear masks so well even their closest loved ones can't see through them. Looking back, I can honestly say that this experience, as painful as it was, taught me a lot about boundaries, honesty, and the importance of self-respect. I still feel the sting of betrayal, but I also feel relief. Relief that I finally saw her for who she really was and had the courage to walk away. I don't regret the marriage because I believe every experience teaches you something, even the heartbreaks. So if there's any advice I can give, it's this: trust your gut. Don't ignore the signs just because you want to believe the best. And remember, no matter how much you love someone, if they're lying, cheating, or betraying you, the only thing worse than losing them is losing yourself in the process. Take care of yourself, stay true to your values, and never settle for less than honesty and respect. Because once that's gone, everything else falls apart.